This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
For your information, an important bridge opened up again in our area. That story is coming right up. Hello again and welcome to FYI News 13. I'm Ken Kara. A repair project on a bridge in Tamaqua is finished and they got the job done ahead of schedule. Locals were so happy. Lisa Sugar tells me they were taking selfies on the bridge. Here's Lisa with more on what this means for our area.
This is the bridge on East Broad Street, which did impact the Tamaqua area community for 16 months. Here to talk about its impact and what it means for you now that it's open is Linda Ulanavich, who is the Executive Director and the Main Street Manager here at the Tamaqua Area Chamber of Commerce. Linda, I'm sure everyone was ecstatic. Were there any balloons or celebrations when the bridge opened?
No, there wasn't, but there was a lot of selfie pictures posted on Facebook of people traveling over the bridge for the first time when it opened. It was a great day when that bridge opened. Certainly, it impacted a lot of things here in town, but we were very grateful to have it opened earlier than it had been planned to be open. So it was amazing when it opened. Everybody took a different route to work, actually, because even me, because I could now come from the east end to the west end without doing the detour. So it was great.
So now the bridge was closed for 16 months. It would have been longer, so it did open up a little earlier than anticipated. You told me there's 170 businesses that are members of the chamber here, and some of the businesses were impacted directly, but others just because maybe people wanted to avoid coming that bridgeway or going around the detour.
Sure, we have about 15 businesses in that impact zone itself. However, and they were affected by it. However, because of the traffic and the detour and then the additional parking in other areas, all of our businesses in the downtown were impacted by the closing of the bridge on East Broad Street. But now it's open and thankfully everything seems to be back to normal. The businesses in that zone really did have to make arrangements, make accommodations for their customers for parking. Some of them provided home services, like our hairdressers and that, did more home services than they originally had done. So I know that the customers did adapt, but it did take some time.
And it also impacted like the emergency medical services in the area, people getting to work, you yourself, like you said. So this had an impact on everybody.
Sure, the community as a whole was impacted by it. The detours, of course, took traffic in on a lot of streets that were not used to handling that volume of traffic. And the EMS services had to make arrangements ahead of time. Probably 6 months was spent ahead of the bridge closing trying to plan for those detours and how our EMS would handle any emergency that came up within that area.
Now, you told me that the closings as well, the closing itself also impacted special events that were held, but that thankfully will no longer be the case.
That's correct. All of our programs, parades, we have Halloween parade and Veterans Day parade and Santa Claus coming to town. We're all affected by that. Detour routes had to be planned for that. But as of this year, our Halloween parade will be back on Broad Street and following its normal route, as will all of the rest of the parades and events that we've had planned throughout the years here.
All right, so give a plug for that. When will your Halloween parade be coming up?
Our Halloween parade is the last Tuesday in October. It starts at 7 o'clock, and it's sure to be a grand one because we will be making one straight line right down Broad Street. So it'll be a great night.
And now you have a beautiful bridge as well, right?
Yes, we do. We have a beautiful newly paved bridge, new sidewalks, and places for people to stand and watch the parade. So it really is a great cause for celebration here in the community.
All right, Linda. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. Again, the bridge is back open in the Tamaqua community, and that means that you are welcome to come on through and patronize all these wonderful businesses that are all members of the Tamaqua Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Hazleton City Council and the mayor agree that more police officers are needed. The question is how to go about it. Mayor Joe Iannuzzi and Police Chief Frank DeAndrea would like to see a property tax increase to pay 10 new full-time officers. Council agreed to put that question to the voters in May, but several members of council feel that hiring part-time officers may be the solution. Sam Galsky has the story in the Standard Speaker, and according to his report, members of council don't think property owners can afford a 22% increase on their taxes for the full-time officers and think bringing in part-time officers is more feasible. In the article, Chief DeAndrea says he's not against the concept of part-time officers, but says they work well in areas that already have enough police protection, adding, quote, "Our wound is way too big to try and heal with a part-time Band-Aid," unquote. You can read the full story from the Sunday paper at standardspeaker.com. You've seen him walking the streets of Hazleton barefoot, preaching the good news of Jesus. The man known as What's Your Name will return to the Sam Lasan Show to talk about where he's been, where he's heading, and what he's accomplished with his vocation of 23 years. He'll tape the shows next Monday, October 20th, and you can email your questions in advance to sam@ssptv.com for What's Your Name this week. The first show will air next Friday, October 24th. Who wants 2 tickets to this week's Greater Hazleton Concert Series concert featuring the Manhattan Rhythm Kings? I can't see your hand, so you're going to have to call us. Call 459-7267, area code 570, extension 104, and tell us you want the tickets and leave your name and phone number on our answering machine. We'll announce the winner on Tuesday. The show is this Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. at the Hazleton Area High School. Up next on FYI, we'll tell you about 2 interesting discussions occurring in our area this week about autoimmune diseases. And later in sports, it's the FYI Football Rewind, including highlights and this week's Kohl Scale.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
Back here at Core Fitness in Hazleton, and we're talking about staying healthy, living a healthier lifestyle. Again, it is exclusive to women only. Love that factor. We're back with Christy, and today we're talking about plateaus, right?
Right.
What are plateaus for those?
Plateaus, anybody that has endeavored to, lose weight or be on this fitness mission to get to a certain goal, you may be 3 pounds from your goal or 1 dress size from your goal, and all of a sudden everything stops, and no matter what you do, you're stuck. And you're like bashing your head off the wall saying, why? I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. So, a couple of things. First of all, there's a lot of great apps that you can use on your phone to get your diet under control. And one that I recommend that's free is MyFitnessPal, and that will not only take care of your calorie count for the day, it includes your exercise, your water intake, and what I love about it is that it will give you a pie chart of your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. And so right there, you can kind of pinpoint if it's your diet that's doing it. You might not be eating enough protein. Women should be eating about 46 grams of protein a day.
Okay.
And if you look at your pie chart and you're only at 20, you had a half a chicken breast all day, you need to up your protein. You don't want to overdo it, but you want to find that fine balance in your diet.
Let me stop you there really quick and ask you, how important is diet when it comes to fitness and diet working together?
It's very important.
Okay.
They say a calorie is a calorie, which is true, but there's a difference between 150 calories of Oreos and 150 calories of a half a chicken breast. You want to make smart choices. Your body is like your car, and you wouldn't drive at 100,000 miles without an oil change. So you want to keep everything running smoothly, eat a lot of fiber, lots of vegetables. The brighter, the better, so go towards those bright vegetables. That's great. But as far as your exercise, what you can do is you can change up your routine. If you're typically a person who works out at night, try to work out in the morning before you've eaten. Maybe eat something small, because some people get a little bit sick or nauseous if they don't eat. But if you work out before you've consumed any calories, you're going into your fat stores versus the carbs that you've already eaten in the day.
Okay.
Okay.
So switch up your
You
workout.
can do that. You can raise your intensity by about 10% every week. If you're running a 6.0 mile per hour on the treadmill, next week run 6.1 to 6.6 and see how that works for you. Work the same muscle groups with different apparatus. If you're doing bicep curls, up it from 5 to 8, or use the cable crossover machine, or something heavier. So you want to kind of trick your body into different exercises that you're really doing, but incorporating more combined exercises, squats with those curls.
So switch it up.
Switch it up.
How often should you be switching it up?
I recommend interval training really probably 2 to 3 times a week. We do that here with our strength training just because we add the cardio in with it a lot of times. But if you hit that plateau, just try to do something different. You want to trick your body into changing.
All right, next week, what are we going to talk about here at CORE?
Next week, we're going to talk about osteoporosis, myths and facts.
All right, that's next week right here every Monday. Join us on FYI.
Time now for FYI News 13 weather.
Tamaqua, I love ya. Even on a gray day, it's good to be in the land of the running water. Good food, good people, and hey, we'll have the local football team, the Blue Raiders, on during the Sportscast. But right now, it's time for weather, and here's our local forecast from the National Weather Service. 30% chance of showers tonight. The low will be 53 degrees. On Tuesday, slight chance of showers before 2 p.m., a high of 73. Tuesday night, another slight chance of showers, low of 56. On Wednesday, the rain really seems to move into the area. 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high of 73. Wednesday night, 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. The low will be 56. On Thursday, we dip down to a 50% chance of showers, high of 64. Thursday night looks mostly cloudy, low of 48. And then on Friday, everything breaks. Partly sunny, a high of 62. And then a partly cloudy night at night with a low around 47. I'm in a great mood, and that is because I'm sitting right next to Cindy Donlin. Always a good time to have her on the program. She is the president of the Greater Hazelton Lupus Foundation. Is that official title?
I am the public education specialist, but that's fine. You could call me the president. I'll do a better job, I promise you.
Cindy, the cool thing about your group is it's not just about lupus. You guys reach out, people with
Right.
different autoimmune diseases, and you have 2 meetings coming up on October 14th. You're going to have a celiac and gluten kind of a meeting about that, and Dr. Stacy Sando, you said, is right now planning on being there. Just tell us about that night, why you feel it's important reaching out to those people.
I think they're one of the more misunderstood and unrepresented group of people. We need to talk more about this condition. There's a lot of people being diagnosed with it, and they really don't have any idea of what the resources are available. So it's an autoimmune disease, so we'd like to have a talk about that, which is going to be having at a regular support group meeting on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock at the Bowl Arena. And you can come with your questions. Doctor will be there to talk to everybody about gluten sensitivity, and this is what we're all about, education, basically. And then the following day, on the 15th of October, on Wednesday, at Queen of Heaven Parish, former Our Lady of Grace, on Vine Street, in the basement at Madonna Hall, we're going to be having a talk on autoimmune diseases in general. If you have scleroderma, fibromyalgia, Behçet's, Sjogren's, Crohn's, MS, of course, lupus, you could come and ask questions. I'll be doing a presentation, and we're going to be having pizza free of charge with tons of brochures and information on various autoimmune diseases. We want to get people to understand the autoimmune process, and that's the only way you can understand your condition. Autoimmunity basically means your body attacks itself. With Crohn's, it's the intestinal tract, gastrointestinal tract. With lupus, it's some various organs in the body. Every autoimmune disease attacks a different specific part of the body, and we're going to teach people how to understand it so they can be proactive in their care. Free of charge. We like to have the public come out. Of course, we're going to have my number at the end of the discussion here on how you can get in touch with me if you have any other further questions about that. The following week after that, on October 21st, we're going to have a volunteer luncheon to give back to the community, people that donate throughout the year that could come to the Bonanza free of charge. We're going to be giving a meal to the community donators to thank them for what they've done throughout the last year.
Cindy, you took all my questions. I mean, I'm all out right now. Now, why you're so dedicated to this? What have people said to you in the past, reach out to you? Are other people coming to these, and what are they saying to you about it?
Well, I myself have lupus, but there's a lot, and I'm going to be becoming a doctor. That also helps. But people have said to me that it made them feel better, that they understand that they're not alone. We want to tell people you're not alone. There's a lot of people being diagnosed. In our area, there's over 10,000 people, 65,000 in Pennsylvania, who are diagnosed with lupus. But there's various autoimmune diseases, not just lupus, and we want to reach out to everybody. So this is what we're here about, education, and most of what we do is free. Our money stays locally with our funding raising. We do need to contribute from the community if they can help us. But just come on out, and we'll tell you what we're all about. It's free of charge, and this is what we're all about, education.
Well, Cindy, thank you so much for your time today, and there's your contact information. And Cindy said she would also be willing to speak if you would like her to come and speak to your group. And that volunteer luncheon, again, October 21st from 12 to 2 p.m. at the Bonanza Steakhouse. Call for reservations. Here's the green screen for today. The daily midday winning Pennsylvania lottery number 131, the Big Four 3609, Quinto 43534, and Treasure Hunt 7, 8, 20, 21, and 25. On the Sportscast next, it's the FYI Football Rewind.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
Let's time travel back to Friday night and take a look at some high school football action. We'll start with Marion's big win over Schuylkill Haven, and then we'll stop by Veterans Memorial Stadium where Tamaqua topped Shenandoah Valley. Here's our play of the night. Marion's Nico Augusti is named Homecoming King, and Laura Neitz is the 2014 Homecoming Queen. Augusti bolts to get ready for the second half, but the photographer wants one more picture, and it's a reverse. Congratulations to Augusti and Neitz. In the third quarter, Schuylkill Haven is down by 1 and driving, but on fourth down, Marion senior linebacker Nicholas Sully makes the stop. Nice tackle, sir. Here's good complimentary football. On the next drive, Marion's O-line opens up a hole for Ken Snur, and Mr. Snur, take it easy. So now it's the Hurricanes' turn, and it's good to be the king. Homecoming king Nico Augusti is all over this one. Haven would have to punt. Hey, it's Nicholas Sully again. He can't say hi, though, because he's rolling on for 6. Marion wins this game 40-17. In Shenandoah, the 462 football crew is also having homecoming, and it's a pink out for breast cancer awareness. The Tamaqua Blue Raiders are in town, and they like to live dangerously. They have already converted once on fourth down on this drive, and they do it again here on 4th and 4. Colin Moyer goes for a big run. Moyer punches it in for the first score of the game a little bit later. The Blue Devils are looking to answer, and Ian McCole hits Jeremy Urbanavage for a long gain. Now it's the Blue Raiders looking to answer, and they do it. Tyler Skripko grabs it, steals it, takes it away. This is a big interception for Tamaqua because it sets up this. Blue Raider quarterback Ernie Shilko finds Moyer, and it's Mo Moyer, Mo problems for opposing teams as Moyer scores here, and Tamaqua goes on to win 47-0. So how does all this affect the Cole scale? Only 2 people know the answer to that, me and Mike Terleski. But now we're going to share that knowledge. Here's a look at our Cole scale for this week. In the lignite grade, teams that are looking to get on a roll. Hazelton area, the Cougars scored 49 points on the road against Tunkhannock. Congratulations to the Cougars on their first win of the season, and Coach Mike Brennan on his first win in charge of the Big HA. The Cougars look to make a jump in the Cole scale with a big game against Wyoming Valley West this Friday. Shenandoah Valley is still fighting, and they are still getting the support from the local fans. Now in the bituminous grade, we have teams that are starting to roll. At the top, we have Marion Catholic. After losing 3 straight, one game was to North Schuylkill, and then they lost 2 games to AAA opponents. Single A Marion bounced back, and they are 3-0 against other Single A teams this season, and their next 2 games are against Single A opponents. In fact, their next opponent is Monoy area. And okay, hear me out on this one. The Golden Bears have lost 3 straight, but they pushed unbeaten Jim Thorpe to the brink. They led 14-0 at halftime, and Jim Thorpe needed a late touchdown to beat the Bears. In the anthracite grade, these teams are on fire, and they are burning long and strong. Tamaqua has won 4 straight by a combined 128-8. But they will be tested in the next few weeks as they play at Blue Mountain, at home against Lehighton, and then they finish on the road at Marion. North Schuylkill, they continue to run at the top. They raked in over 600 yards of offense in a win over Mount Carmel, and they are really rolling into their matchup with unbeaten Jim Thorpe as both teams are looking for an Anthracite League title. Who will be the kings of the Cole scale? We'll find out in a few weeks. Ron Marchetti is the king of sports trivia, and here comes this week's Trivia Treats.
A long time ago at this time, one World Series ended on a play that never ended a game before or after in World Series history. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Trivia Treats. On tonight's show, we shall cover one play. The year was 1926, a sunny fall Tuesday afternoon at Yankee Stadium in New York. The Yankees and the Cardinals. Babe Ruth did just about everything imaginable to help the Yankees win the 1926 World Series. At that time, the Babe established no fewer than 7 Fall Classic records, not the least of which included the 3 home runs he slammed in Game 4. Despite his heroics, however, the Yankees still entered the bottom of the 9th in Game 7 down by a run. Earlier in that series finale, the Bronx Bombers had their chance to break through against Old Pete, Grover Cleveland Alexander, who despite pitching a complete game the day before, his second complete game of that series, came out of the bullpen in the 7th inning to face a rookie named Tony Lazzeri. With the bases loaded, he didn't even warm up in the pen and only threw 4 warm-up pitches from the mound. On his 3rd pitch, Lazzeri belted a long drive down the left field line that looked like it could be a grand slam, but the ball curve fell at the very last moment. Granted a reprieve, Alexander not only struck out Lazzeri to end the seventh, but then he proceeded to retire the next 5 batters in a row. Only one batter stood in the way of the Cardinals' 3-2 victory in Game 7, Babe Ruth. Alexander may have been old and maybe even a little bit over the limit, but Grover Cleveland was not stupid, so the veteran walked the Babe after a full count, opting instead to face Bob Musial. The only problem was Musial never got a chance to swing the bat. Instead, on the first pitch, Ruth darted for second. By the time he slid into the bag, the throw from catcher Bob O'Farrell was waiting in Roger Hornsby's glove. The World Series had ended on a caught stealing. Mother of God! Ruth's decision to run drew much scrutiny. Some agreed that the likelihood of 2 hits in a row against Alexander seemed remote, and some felt Grover Cleveland had pitched a complete game the day before and 3 full innings the following day. Musial was a good hitter, and if there was only one thing that the Bambino wasn't good at, it was stealing bases. Only a shade over 50%. Both sides of the argument had merit, but I don't think so. Ruth should have stayed right there. See you Friday. Till then, be a good sport. Stay loose.
Mondays can be rough, but you can end them on a high note. Seafood night at Bottlenecks. Choose from crab, clam, shrimp, and lobster specials, such as their little neck clams in garlic butter, only $1.95 a dozen, or handmade crab cake platter for only $8.95.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's Talk of the Town report. First tonight, the Soul Kitchen will be hosting a free community meal Tuesday, October 14th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. at Trinity Lutheran Church in Hazelton. All are welcome to attend, and please use the Tamarack Street entrance. For information, please call 570-454-3492. Also tonight, the Nuremberg Weston Volunteer Fire Company will be holding a comedy night, Saturday, October 18th. Doors open at 7 p.m. Show begins at 8. Tickets include show, food, and refreshments. For info, call 570-384-4362. And finally, the Rotary Club of Hazelton will be holding its annual spaghetti dinner Wednesday, October 29th at Genetti's. Eat in or take out will be available from 4:30 to 7 p.m. Tickets may be purchased from any Rotary member or by calling 570-454-2494. At tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Daryl Arnold of Freeland. Funeral is Wednesday at 10 a.m. at the McCune Funeral Home. Friends may call Tuesday from 5 to 8 p.m. and Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. And Dorothy Carolyn Sasevich, formerly of Hazelton. Memorial is Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the Church of All Saints in McAdoo. Friends may call Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. The Cropton Hughes Funeral Home is assisting the family. Attention pay-per-view subscribers, if you see your name right now on News 13, you'll have 13 minutes to call in and win a free movie from Service Electric Cablevision. Our winner tonight is Adriana Welsh of Barnesville. Adriana, if you're watching, give us a call right now, 570-455-7267, extension 104.
One final reminder, Out of Left Field is on tonight, Monday night at 8 p.m. And also get in your questions for What's Your Name? Sam at SSPTV.com. Send them there. We'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy, everyone.